Hi, Dr. Buttler here. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about your health today. We're going to be doing a 30-day challenge here at the clinic. My staff and I talked about it, doing one video a day for 30 days in an effort to spread the word on self-care and give you as much education and information as I can to help motivate you and keep you aware of what your options are as it relates to choices that you make and what you can be doing to move towards your potential. I was just speaking with Shannon at my clinic about our concept of our vision that we have of seeing ourselves being at our potential and why that really matters. Why does it, I always ask my patients this question, why does it matter that you're sick? Why does it matter that you don't feel well? What is that preventing you from doing? And I think people, generally speaking, have a concept of, well, I want to feel better. If I feel better, I can, have less pain. If I feel better, I can, not have to go to the doctor as much. If I feel better, then, I don't have to miss work as much, or things like that, which are all very relevant. But that concept of vision, this vision of seeing yourself, being back on purpose through choices and decisions that you are making with regards to your self-care, because that is not a passive process in our culture anymore. Health is not passive. It doesn't just come to us. For obvious different reasons, we are being exposed to greater amounts of adversity, greater amounts of toxicity, greater amounts of stress that push on us. They push on our ability to be at our potential, to be a better you. And this isn't about being perfect, but it's about understanding an understanding of that vision of where you can be, and when you're there, what are you doing? What does that look like? And that gets back to a concept called purpose-driven life, which this video is not about, but I'm just preempting what the topic I'm going to go into, which is hydrotherapy. I love hydrotherapy. If I had one tool that I could use medicinally, it would be hydrotherapy, and I'll talk to you about the benefits of that here in a moment. But this concept again of self-care, your vision, understanding that the choices that you make on a day-to-day basis are what encourage and move you towards that vision is what this is all about. It's just trying to motivate you and encourage you to get to where I know you can be. So hydrotherapy. Okay, hydrotherapy, awesome. Hydrotherapy has been used for many, hundreds and hundreds and probably thousands of years. Hydrotherapy essentially is using contrast. It's using alternating hot and cold water to move blood. So this seems maybe too simple. I always think about that when I go over recommendations with patients. I'm like, oh, this is too simple. There has to be something more complicated about health than doing hydrotherapy or improving nutrition or improving our belief system or improving elimination. There must be something more complex. But as the longer I practice and the more people I see, remember, health is not complex. We're over medicalized. We need to be getting simple. We need to get simple with the choices that we make and the impact that those simple choices can have, but they have to be cumulative in repetition. So hydrotherapy is one that's a cumulative treatment. Cumulative means that you build on it, something you do regularly. It builds on itself. It has a positive impact in time. Definitely you can feel things more immediate, but it's a significant therapeutic that in time, used frequently, will have a great impact on your physiologic health through primarily detoxification. So I mentioned this idea of this contrast of hot and cold. So let me explain to you a little bit more about what I mean by that. So usually when I recommend hydrotherapy, I recommend my patients do this when they're showering once a day. if you shower more than once a day, you can do hydrotherapy more than once a day. If you take a bath, I'll tell you how to do it in the bath. But most people will shower once a day. And if you don't shower once a day, the hygiene part of it is not the issue. There's benefits to washing your body. And remember this, good tip, only wash in the creases. It is not of value for you when you are showering to wash your entire body. And the reason we bathe is because we get bacteria that builds up. That bacteria obviously can start creating odor, which most of us don't want to have. It's okay if you want to have that, but people get a little self-conscious about body odor, and in time too, that bacteria, if left to accumulate, can start impacting the health of the skin, and so on and so forth. So usually we bathe to remove bacteria. Well, bacteria only accumulates, generally speaking, in the creases of your body. So you have creases around your body within, it's called your axilla or your armpit, within your pelvic region, within your buttock region, within the creases of typically your neck, within your toes. Those are the areas that you want to wash with soap and water. When you wash with soap and water over the rest of your body, you're removing a lot of the positive beneficial oils that our body will produce, that our body wants to have on it. It maintains immunity for the skin. It maintains the health of the skin. It maintains a lot of beneficial components that occur as we keep that oil on the skin. So remember, when you wash, predominantly wash the creases of your body, okay? So it's a little side note. Getting back to hydrotherapy, so hydrotherapy is done traditionally in the shower. Again, how I recommend it, traditionally it's been done in different ways, which we have enough time I'll go into with you, but for this purpose, again, this is an education and an understanding into a treatment that you can do to improve your health. So when you shower, get warm, soap up, and do your thing. And I mentioned, if you don't want to soap up, don't do it. Just get in the shower, get warm water on your body. So when warm water comes onto your body, your blood vessels start to vasodilate. So the blood vessels will start to open up, okay? That's why if you ever get out of a hot tub or a really hot shower, sometimes you can feel a little woozy because that blood starts to pool. It starts to pool typically into the extremities, which are your legs and your arms, and you lose a little bit of blood volume, especially getting up to the brain. Doesn't, obviously you're still getting blood to the brain, but you lose a little bit of volume as that heat comes. That's why, again, you can feel a little unstable. So there's a benefit to that heat. It opens things up, okay? So the contrast happens when cold occurs. So we want it to open up, but then we want cold water to get onto the body. So we love the cold water. Cold water is the best part of this. Obviously, for some individuals, cold water is pretty vulnerable. A lot of my thyroid patients, they don't like the cold water. But I had a great professor once tell me, with hydrotherapy, if they don't like it, they need it even more. Because typically, for individuals, when we don't like contrast, when we want things to be very steady, very consistent, we don't like that variability. It means we don't have a lot of reserve in our capacity to manage, the contrast, the polarity, the change of this to that, hot to cold. Something's good, something's not good. The vulnerability that happens within our bodies based on our environment, our physical environment, based on our emotional environment. So hydrotherapy is a way to start getting movement happening within the body, which is both a physical thing and an emotional thing. So you get warm in the shower, warm water. Once you're at the end of your shower, okay, then you're going to turn it to cold water. That cold water starts coming onto your body. And I mentioned that we have this vasodilation in the warmth. The blood vessels open up, and that's doing that to maintain a core temperature. You can't let your core or your brain get too hot, so the blood, which carries the heat in our body, will start to move to different parts of the body in an effort to maintain a core temperature. So when that cold hits, that's perceived as a stress. It's a stressor to the body. There's a great saying Well, before I say the saying, let me tell you this. Stress is a major problem for us in our health. Now, stress is categorized in different kind of, areas of how influential, how impactful that can be on our health. Ongoing, consistent emotional stress, physical stress that's unrelenting, that continues to occur, that you continue to associate with, will break you down. The stress of cold water is not that type of stress. That's a vulnerable stress for a moment on the system that helps you build a vitality. So I get back to my saying, there's a saying that goes, as the twig bends, the tree grows. So through momentary stress and the resilience to build off of it, we get stronger, we get more, as I use that word again, vital, more vibrant. We have more capacity to manage states of adversity. So this hydrotherapy, if you do this home therapeutic, that's free. That's, I love this. It costs nothing. It's not even that much time. 30 seconds out of your day. It's just repetition. It's diligence. It's understanding the value of it. Will be very helpful, very impactful for your health. So when the cold hits, stress happens. It's called vasoconstriction that happens. Remember, vasodilation opens it up, vasoconstriction constricts, blood comes rushing back into the core of the body. So we create this expansion, contraction. Okay, expansion, contraction. That creates motion and movement within the body. Movement is life. Stagnation, that's a Chinese medicine concept. When things are stagnant, it's like, bleh. Stuff's not moving, things accumulate. You ever been in a river and the water eddies off and it gets stagnant? It's like, I'm not going to swim in that water. I'm going to swim in the water that's moving. That's where health is. That's where this vitality is. It's in movement. We're too stagnant. We're physically stagnant. We're emotionally stagnant. We're nutritionally stagnant. We're accumulating too much in our systems. I'll discuss that in another video, this concept of accumulation. If you accumulate too much, where does that accumulation go? It starts building up in the system. It starts coming out then through the skin. It starts accumulating within the nervous system tissue. It starts accumulating within your liver, within your kidney. You get cysts, you get tumors, you get things like that from accumulation. So using contrast, something that expands, contracts, creates motion. Motion creates elimination. If we eliminate more than we accumulate, that's a formula for health. It's like your home. If you're accumulating more than you're eliminating, for a while you can put it into the closets and keep it out of the way, but eventually it's going to impact function and structure. So we have to be creating an ability for elimination to be happening. Contrasting hot and cold water. 30 seconds of a cold water rinse. And start small. Gradually work your way out. Remember, progress, not perfection. Work your way up. Start with your knees and down. Work up to your body. Get up, over your head, down your back, over your spine. Get vulnerable in that cold water and breathe. You can do it. I've done it for so long. I love it now. You'll learn to love it. I know you will. Patients tell me that all the time. People are very skeptical when I first tell them, you got to put cold water on your body. And they're like, I don't know if I'm going to do that. But I try to explain it to them, and they eventually end up doing it, and they learn to love it. It's simple. It's effective. Moves blood. Detoxifies the system. It improves your nervous system. It's actually a parasympathetic, which is part of the nervous system that's rest and digest. Because initially it's stress, but then you're okay. You can breathe in that water. You can get warm, and then you balance the nervous system back out. So hydrotherapy, very helpful therapeutic. The simplicity is at the end of your shower, 30 seconds of cold water over your body. Work your way up all the way to the coldest that you can get. You will learn to love it. Remember, move, create movement, not stagnation. That's where health is found. So thank you so much for taking the time to learn about your health today. Look for our next video, and until next time, take care of yourself.